Hello everybody. So today I decided to do the drawing of, I'm going to butcher her name. Is it Huohuo? Anyway, she's one of the characters from Honkai Star Rail. She is currently one of them that I've been playing with on the game. There's a ghost hunting section that we're doing over in one of the areas, and she was just so adorable. But you'll notice that the screen, I actually took like a picture of her idle pose, and it's whenever her tail kind of goes haywire, which is actually a spirit on her tail. But she pulls out these talismans, and the spirit sees the talismans and like shakes her around, and I thought that would be the cutest little pose to draw. I'm gonna have to figure out how to pronounce her name because I feel bad not being able to pronounce it. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. Okay, I looked it up, and I'm still probably gonna butcher her name, but it's Huohuo. That's her name. But she is part of, you might as well say, like the ghost hunting squad over in Honkai Star Rail, and it's just the most adorable thing. And she has got the most tired eye bags I have ever seen. Seems like everybody on this ghost hunting squad has got some kind of tiredness to them. But she's a Foxian character, and so that's why she's got the little fox ears. But what's interesting is that the spirit is attached to her tail, so whenever she activates a burst, then her tail kind of comes off. So right now in the game it's kind of strange. But I just thought she was the most adorable little character ever, and she is so cute. So needless to say, I was having a hard time with this pose, mainly because my reference that you can see is extremely blurry. Like, it was so hard to get a good clip of her being like tossed around, but I thought this would be the absolute perfect pose. She has a moment of slight fear and hesitation on her. But anyways, so hopefully everybody else enjoys this as well, because I have been riding the Honkai Star Rail train hard. I have been playing that game every single day and leveling up characters and learning more about it. It's very interesting. It's got a very nice storyline and plot to it. And like I said in the, I think it was very first video I did, and I was doing a sketch of one of the characters from Honkai Star Rail, and I did not think that I would like the game as much with it being a turn-based game, but I really do like it. Now, needless to say, whenever I'm trying to level them up, I kind of put it on autopilot, which is nice, but it's very satisfying to see your characters go from doing like 10 points of crit damage to like 1800 now, and I've been playing a game for like a month, I think it's been, so it's still pretty new to me. But yes, so as I've mentioned before, I do a sketch a couple of times. I do that base sketch, then a couple more on top of it. It was a little difficult, as I mentioned before, with this pose to figure out where everything is, but thankfully the outfit is not like as complicated as a lot of other outfits that could be. So I think that really played in my favor. I did have an issue with his left hand though, because even whenever I took a picture of my own hand and tried to like figure out how it needed to go, it's a very awkward pose. As I've seen it many artists do before, they always say like not every pose is a very good object to like draw or something. So now I started to work on the background. I did move the background a couple times. I could have refined it a little bit more, but I really wanted Huohuo, if I'm pronouncing that right, to be the main focus. So I kind of end up blurring it. So I lay down the foundation, everything, get the basic colors. And I've noticed I've got this habit of still slanting stuff. And I guess it's just how I have my canvas. I need to practice that more. And as I've mentioned before, many of my other drawings I've posted was more so in a the size for the Instagram post, and this one I did do as a 5x7 post, and I made adjustments to today's time-lapse background, as you see. But I hope everybody is doing well, and if you're as fascinated with Honkai Star Rail as what I am at the moment, let me know. how everything's going and how far in the game you are. And I've got so many little side quests to do, and I went through the main storyline, and I hate it that it's at the to be continued stage, but I'm so excited to learn more about these characters. Currently it is the banner with Aventurine on it, and oh my, I cannot remember the other one's name. But she's one of the ice users. And I halfway contemplated pulling on Aventurine for this banner, but I decided not to. I wanted to learn more about all the other characters. But I have been pulling on the, I guess it's like the basic banner, kind of like how Genshin has it. They have the intertwined fates and like your basic fates and everything. And so I've been pulling on the basic banner, and I guess maybe pulling on the banner helps out with the main banner like it does in Genshin. I'm not 100% for sure yet, but I did get Himiko off of the basic banner, and that's pretty fun. She is an amazing character too. I love it. She has like a chainsaw as a weapon, and then it flies, and it's just interesting the viewpoint of these weapons in this storyline. I'm like, how in the world did you decide to do this? This one has a sword, and then this one's a polearm, but where in the world does a chainsaw come out at? Or they hit him with a coffin. I'm like, what? It is so interesting. So I lay down all my base colors. And then I go in, I do like a basic shading. Out of everything, I think the tail kind of gave me a little bit of issue because of it being so out of focus in the reference photo. And it was kind of hard to find a reference for the tail, but I did try my best with it. I think I could have done a little bit more to it, but I did as much as I could with it. And I love the little talismans. They all have like their different facial expressions, and then one of them's like just meh. Like, I didn't sign up for this. I think it's just so adorable how she draws little expressions on them and everything. But yes, so we're working on just the basic shading, basic coloring, and then as I mentioned before, what I like to do in Procreate is I like to group the base color, the basic colors, and all the extra shading that I did, and group those and duplicate it. And I also duplicate my sketch that is on multiply, and usually I turn that down to like I don't want to say about 80%, and then I end up turning off the extras that I duplicated just to have a backup in case something happens, and then I merge all of that together. So then basically I just have my background layer, my main layer that has the character. Now I did have a tail on a separate layer because I didn't want to merge everything just yet. And then I've got the talismans on a separate layer as well. But yes, I'm excited for learning more about these characters. And the little ghost hunting part is very, very cute. It really does bring in some more characters and tie them all together, and you realize certain little behaviors. I do like the Foxian characters. They're very interesting. And then it's interesting to learn that some of them say, oh, well, the humans, they're the short-lived creatures or species, short-lived species versus long-lived species. And it's like, then you have, I'll need to draw a Bayou, Bayou, the dragon lady, as they call her. She's one of the little doctors, and she's so cute and adorable, little chibi character. But apparently, she's one of the long-living creatures, and it's very interesting. Kind of ties into the story with Dan Hong as well. But I just don't want to throw out too many spoilers because this is supposed to be a drama, and I'm just getting all excited over Honkai Star Rail. Sorry. I will say her eyes were very, very interesting to draw because her pupils are like little paw prints. So I was worried that wasn't going to like transfer over very well, but it seems to be doing pretty good. And then you'll see the flashing of the layers. Once again, like I said, I like to put the what I had originally under, and then I go back and forth just to make sure, like, hey, is this really the direction I want to go? And to see the progress. It's always very fun to see the progress. And I'm hoping maybe someday this week, I'm probably going to do a, not a full process draw with me, but from the sketch of Dan Hong that I did, And if I mispronounce the names, I'm so sorry. I am trying, I really am. But I'm probably going to do like a color session of that sketch, maybe refine it a little bit more, and then do the coloring session, and maybe make that like an ASMR. And I may do a voiceover on it, or I may not. I don't know. Do people really like the voiceovers with the ASMR sounds and a little bit of music? If you're watching this, and just let me know in the comments, and I can make adjustments for the future. But it seems like the voiceovers are doing pretty good. I know, like I mentioned before, I always like seeing people's process and their thoughts on how they decided to do what they do. And now I will say for these, once I learn more of how best to lay down the colors, I do color select from my reference. But then what I end up doing is either I go more saturated, or either I go more saturated and then warmer or cooler. For this character, I stuck more so to the cooler side, meaning that on the little bar where you go left and right for the color hues and color saturations, like if it says straight up green, I probably push it more towards a teal blue and try to bring in a different color variation. So then here we're just working on the smaller details. Like I said, still try to get some of the base colors in and then render it more. It was very interesting with the lighting situation because of my reference. The way the lighting's hit is coming from her right side. And you would have thought that a lot of the lighting would have came from the back too, like a backlit light, which I guess I could have still done that. But I just try to stick to the reference as much as I could. I did move a couple things, make some adjustments here and there, but overall, I'm very pleased with how it worked out. Like her frightened look is just working out great on it. But we're coming close to the end of this video. Got maybe like a minute left of this, but I hope everybody, like I said, is doing well. You're enjoying these videos. I am enjoying making them, and going back and looking over the process and talking about Honkai Star Rail, or if I'm drawing Genshin, talking about Genshin Impact. I do insert the final piece at the end because I end up doing some gradient maps, and then, as I mentioned before, I like taking the complete canvas, duplicating it, and doing it as a soft layer, and turning the opacity down to like maybe 20-25%. But it just helps to add some definition. Like I said, I had some issues with the tail, but I'm very pleased with how it came out at the end. If y'all have any video suggestions for the future, you just feel free to let me know. I am learning. This is all a learning curve. And we shall see how this does for the future. I do a Gaussian blur on certain things, and the talismans I do like a little motion blur. And then do some little highlights around them because I felt like they were a little bit too dull. But yes. So we're at the end of this video, and I hope everybody's enjoyed the drawing of Huohuo from Honkai Star Rail. And until next time, see y'all then. Bye bye.